Welcome to God's story. It's about people who lived long ago, thousands of years ago, and it's about people who live today. This story's about you, because we all have a part in God's story. Most of all, God's story is about Jesus. Jesus was there at the beginning, and he's with us right now. Jesus is the one who makes a way for us to be close to God forever and ever and ever. Stay tuned to hear how Jesus is the Savior of the whole world and how he can be your Savior too.
Gosh, I have so much to do today. First, I need to run to the grocery store to grab stuff for that birthday party I have later. Then I'm going to lunch with Katie. Oh gosh, I need to finish that book for my book club, and I need to pick up the cake for the party and check in with Connie to see if she got the decorations, and I wanted to go on a run at some point. Okay. That's a lot to do, but it'll be fine. I'll get it all done. It will be fine.
Hey, Maddie, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, well, I was just trying to plan out all the things that I needed to do today, but honestly, I'm a little overwhelmed. It's a lot to do.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry you're so busy. Well, me and Jesus are gonna go to the park if you wanna come.
Wait, what do you mean you and Jesus are going to the park?
While Jesus was alive on earth, he constantly amazed everyone around him. He taught people about God's love, and he did things that no other human could do. One day, Jesus did a miraculous thing. He fed thousands of people with just a little bit of bread and a little bit of fish. It was incredible. But after that, Jesus wanted to spend some time talking to God. So he sent the crowd away, and he sent his friends, the disciples, across the lake. Jesus then went high on the mountainside to pray by himself. By that night, the disciples had taken their boat far from the shore to the middle of the Sea of Galilee. And then came the storm. They were being pounded by waves and wind. And as the wind was blowing and the water was rolling, the disciples looked far into the distance to the shore. Through the early morning mist, they couldn't believe what they saw. It was a person walking on the water. And that person was walking straight towards them. They were terrified and they cried out in fear. People can't walk on water. Is it a ghost? When Jesus saw they were afraid, right away he reassured them. He called out, "Be brave, it's me. Don't be afraid." They gave one of the disciples, Peter, a lot more courage. He called back to Jesus, "Lord, if that's really you, then tell me to come to you on the water." And Jesus answered with one word, "Come." Slowly, Peter climbed over the side of the boat into the waves. And to his surprise, he didn't sink. He began to walk on the water. And as Peter walked, he kept his eyes firmly fixed on Jesus. But as he got closer and closer to Jesus, he was almost right there. But then he noticed how big the waves really were, and he felt how strong the wind really was, and he was afraid. He took his focus off of Jesus and he began to sink, and he cried out, "Lord, save me!" In an instant, Jesus reached out his hand to Peter, and he pulled him out of the water, and he saved him. But then Jesus said to Peter, "Your faith is so small. Why did you doubt?" Peter had forgotten who Jesus was. He'd forgotten that Jesus was bigger than any storm and that Jesus could do anything. Instead of focusing on Jesus, Peter saw the wind and the waves and he got scared. Even though he'd been walking on water in faith, he started to sink when he let fear take over. But Jesus didn't let Peter sink. He grabbed him right away, and Peter was safe. He was always safe with Jesus. They both climbed back into the boat. The wind died down and the water was still again. Everyone in the boat worshiped Jesus. They cried out, "You really are the Son of God." Jesus showed Peter and everyone on the boat that they can trust him. And he shows us too. Jesus is always with us. He never leaves us, not ever. And we can always trust him.
So earlier you said you were going to the park with Jesus. What did you mean by that?
Great question. I like to say that because it's a good reminder for me, and honestly, everyone, that Jesus is always with me, even if I'm just going to the park.
Huh, so you mean to tell me Jesus can go with me to run all the errands that I have to do?
Of course! He is always with you. Just like when Jesus and Peter walk on water. Do you remember how Peter doubted for just a small second that Jesus wasn't there for him and then started to sink?
Yeah.
And then do you remember how Jesus immediately reached out his hand to grab Peter?
Yeah?
It's the same for us. Jesus is always there immediately to be with us. When we are scared, or when we feel like we can't do anything, or even if we are going to the park and running errands.
Wow, that really is a good reminder. Me and Jesus going to pick up a birthday cake. I really like thinking about that.
I think we should all think this way. Remember, you guys, you can trust that Jesus is with you always.
Have a good week.